Welcome back and thank you for staying with NTV Weekend Edition. On Talk of the Nation tonight, we look at the Education Ministry that recently resolved to speed up the acceptance of information technology in teaching methods, following, of course, the initiatives that came forward among teachers during the COVID-19 imposed lockdown. So tonight, we pick the thoughts of the Director of the Directorate of Industrial Training. We've had him here before, Patrick Byakatonda, to see his general appreciation of the use of technology in teaching and assessing students. Welcome to Talk of the Nation tonight.
Thank you, Sandra.
Well, to our viewers watching us this evening, we would like to hear from your own perspective how you appreciate the use of ICT in assessing, in teaching students, but also what are your thoughts on it being able to work out?
Thank you, Sandra. Good evening, viewers. First of all, information, communication and technology in teaching and learning. Now, teaching and learning, we have categories, we have levels. We have universities, tertiary, we have secondary schools, and then we have primary. Then we have vocational education and training. We have also the general education. So while it is simpler for general education,
it's more difficult for vocational training.
For vocational training, you need to change the methodology. It is not only ICT. You can do some ICT in some aspect. For instance, in recording procedures, you can record the procedure, then somebody watches. Or you have a virtual, he watches the procedure. However, the actual practical, you need the hands-on. So it is a combination of the two in that area. For the universities, sometimes they provide a link, just somebody studies online. That one is simpler. Then for the primary, given ours where they are located, not all our primary schools and whatever, they have the gadgets, the access, the internet. You need the internet, you need the smartphone, or you need the laptop. So those gadgets are critical. Even some of the secondary schools, those for 100% ICT, they are required. So that is the difference. So it varies from one level to another, and also from one subsector, also depending on the courses. They also vary.
Well, now that we are talking about vocational training and you bring in the aspect of someone can watch you do this and do the other, but then in terms of assessment, it has to be really physical. We have to see you do it to be able to mark, I would imagine. What is your general assessment plan in the event that you incorporate the use of ICT on a day-to-day basis in your activities?
Assessment also, part of the assessment can be done online. Especially the theory.
Yeah.
They just, you have a smartphone, somebody is seeing you virtually, and then you time yourself. There is timing, there is also time done. Even some of the examinations, they are done what? Online. However, for the practical, if it is hairdressing or beautician, the assessor has to see you working on a person. And then you have to perfect it. And then as he watches the what? The procedure. He cannot mark you online. So we need his hands-on. What do we do? With COVID, we put the social distance. We sanitize the instruments which we are using. We sanitize the equipment. If it is motor vehicle mechanics, if one group have used it, then another one, before it comes in, it has to be sanitized.
In the past, have you felt the need to incorporate ICT in your day-to-day activities? Have you felt the need to have it?
We have sort of the need because of the use of ICT. One, ICT reduces on manpower requirements. For instance, Directorate of Industrial Training, you need one verifier for every 6 candidates. However, if you have ICT, one person can verify so many candidates. And so we thought about it. However, during COVID, it came as a necessity It is now part and parcel of every training institutions and every program.
Now that we have you in our studios, just to take you back briefly, during the entire COVID-19 strict lockdown, what are some of those things you did in regards to ICT? How were you able to keep up? During that time, were you only doing everything online, or there was also some bit of physical meeting?
During that time of lockdown, first of all, we started with try and error because the situation was tense.
Yes.
So there was recorded teaching for primary and secondary schools mainly. They could teach, get the best teachers, they teach, and then the lesson is projected on the TV, which can also be done also virtually using the... Then the issue was now the vocation are hands-on purely. How do we do it? So what we did, some procedures could be done online.
Yes.
For instance, if it is a domestic wiring, you go through the procedure when somebody is watching on the TV, or he has a smartphone, he's watching on the screen. Then after the procedure, you have the actual practical. That one you need. So it was a combination of both online and physical.
And just staying with the topic of ICT in learning and assessment, let's speak about assessment. With that coming in place, I believe that there are some assessors that you will need to train. Are there any plans at the moment that you're putting in place to ensure that when the time comes and you're fully using ICT in your day-to-day activities, they're better prepared?
Okay, thank you very much, Sandra. In our case, first of all, we had to go online. Most of the exercise, registration online and whatever. Then our packages, assessment and training packages, they are also developed and they are captured online. Now from there, we came now to start training the assessors. However, before you come to the assessors, you had to start from your own staff. And we had also to borrow riff from their organizations within. Actually, here we thank UNEB. UNEB assisted us to teach our staff because of the lower secondary curriculum. Now, the issue now is training. However, this training requires a lot. Some of the equipment, our assessors, they don't have them. Then I don't know what happens to the students now.
There's a challenge there. But also, where do you expect to see the evolution of competence-based learning over the next couple of years?
Competence is very wide. It is hands on the machine. ICT.
If ICT is in place, how do you, and you're using ICT, how then do you say this person understands how to do this, knows how to braid hair? Competence, do you think it's going to be affected in the long run?
What I can know, I can tell you, even in the long run, we need both a combination of ICT and the actual interaction.
Yes.
Because even in teaching, you need the teacher to respond. How do you ask questions now? If you are virtually, okay, you can send a message. Is it enough? Is it adequate? Because our practical is hands-on. You either know or you don't know. Can you drive a vehicle virtually? No. You need to drive physically. So that physical interaction is very critical.
As we conclude our conversation today, the incorporation of ICT, do you believe it's going to encourage more people to take part in vocational training, considering it will be just maybe you get on your computer or your laptop or your phone and you're able to take up lessons? Do you think it's going to encourage more people to take up such courses? Yeah,
it is going to encourage more people because the generation now is .com.
Yes.
So whatever is supplemented with technology, they will have to embrace it. Two, they can learn from experts. They learn from South Korea, from Japan, how things are done. Then we modify them to fit our own conditions.
Okay. Thank you so much, Patrick Biakatonda, who is the Director of the Directorate of Industrial Training, joining us tonight on Talk of the Nation to speak about the importance and appreciation of ICT in vocational training that was recently resolved to be sped up. Well, thank you once again. NTV Weekend Edition will continue shortly, so do not go away.